The crows flapped away, and Thomas chuffed after them.
The crows are flying towards the steamworks.
Thomas's firebox fizzed.
I must catch up with those crows.
Thomas puffed into the steamworks. Gordon was there. He was having a new coat of paint. The crows flew down from the sky. They landed on his boiler. They scratched and they scuffed. They cackled and cawed. The crows were having even more fun.
The crows! I must hoot and toot.
Thomas blew his whistle loudly.
Fizzling fireboxes!
And with a flap and a squawk, the crows flew away.
Sorry, Gordon. I'm chasing crows for Farmer McCall. I must go. Goodbye, Gordon.
And Thomas puffed quickly away.
Oh, the indignity!
On his way to Knapford, Thomas steamed through Maithwaite Station. Suddenly he stopped. There was a very big hat sitting on some suitcases. It was blue and green and red and purple. It was the most colourful hat Thomas had ever seen. It was also the biggest.
This hat would make the children happiest of all.
So Thomas's driver put the big colourful hat into Thomas's cab.
I've found the biggest, brightest hat. The children will be pleased with that.
And Thomas wheeshed away to pick up the important package. Percy puffed into the woods. He saw a rabbit. With a wheesh and a whoosh and a hoot and a toot, Percy steamed towards the rabbit.
Hello, Mr. Rabbit. Will you be my friend?
The rabbit hopped and popped into the woods. Percy was puzzled.
Perhaps Mr. Rabbit didn't hear me. Next time I must be even louder. I will hide here. Henry will never see me now.
Then Charlie heard the slow clickety-clack of Henry's wheels on the track. Charlie was excited. Henry puffed up to the snowman.
Ho, ho, ho! Hello, Henry! Shall I tell you a joke?
Henry stopped suddenly. Henry was surprised.
Who said that?
Henry looked around. He couldn't see another engine. He could only see the snowman.
Ho, ho, ho! I did! What sort of ball doesn't bounce?
Henry stuttered. Henry stammered. He'd never met a talking snowman before.
I don't know. A snowball! Ha!
The snowman laughed. Henry wobbled.
Oh, me! Oh, my! A laughing snowman!
And Henry steamed quickly away. The coast track was flat and fast. Percy was pleased, but Thomas was worried.
The wind has started to whip and whistle.
It puffed and it huffed the balloon up in the air and away.
Cinders and ashes.
Flatten my funnel.
We must rattle and race after the big balloon.
Percy's boiler bubbled.
No, Thomas. We should wait and watch for the big balloon. It's sure to float back to us.
Thomas wasn't sure, but he didn't want to upset Percy.
Very well, Percy.
So Thomas and Percy waited and watched. Then Gordon huffed huffily in. He was on his way to pick up the Fat Controller.
What are you two doing?
We're waiting for the big balloon.
To flutter and float back to us.
Gordon grunted grumpily.
The big balloon won't float back to you. The wind will whip it away.
And it did. That made Percy very upset. Thomas didn't want Percy to be upset.
I must hurry. I must go. Quickly to the country show.
Thomas steamed swiftly away before the farm workers had closed the trailer properly. But Thomas didn't know that. His pistons pumped and his steam swirled.
I'll chuff to the bridge. There'll be a lot of people there I can tell about the country show.
There were a lot of people on the bridge. Thomas was pleased.
Hurry to the country show. Tell your friends and don't be slow.
Thomas blew his wonky whistle loud and long. The wonky whistle scared Katy the sheepdog. With a bounce and a bound, she jumped off the trailer. The people waved to tell Thomas. Thomas thought they were waving to say hello. Belle took Toby to Gordon's Hill.
Let's race to the top and then whoosh down.
But Toby didn't want to whoosh, so he wheeshed back into a siding.
Ready to roll, Toby?
Belle whooshed down the other side.
Oh, fizzling fireboxes, Toby. That was fun.
But Toby didn't answer, because Toby wasn't there. Suddenly, a strong gust of wind lifted the snowman off the ground, away from the children. The snowman was a snowman balloon. Thomas didn't see the guide ropes catch on his buffers and get caught there. And he didn't know the balloon was now following him. Thomas stopped at the level crossing. Suddenly, the children's snowman was there in front of him. Thomas didn't know a snowman could dance in the air. "What are you doing here, Mr. Snowman?" cried Thomas. Mr. Snowman said nothing. "You must go back to the children," tooted Thomas. "They'll be very sad without you." Thomas raced away from the crossing. "If I puff fast," chuffed Thomas, "Mr. Snowman will never be able to follow me." Thomas took Hero to the logging station. Bash, Dash and Ferdinand were busy loading Joby logs. Old Wheezy and Hee-Haw were busy throwing them around. Suddenly, Hero smiled and sighed.
Look, Thomas. Joby logs. There must be Joby trees we can visit.
But Thomas wasn't thinking about visiting Joby trees.
The logging locos are the most fun of all. I'm sure they will make you happy. Hello, Bash, Dash and Ferdinand.
Hello, Thomas.
This is Hero.
Hello, Hero. We're the logging locos. Welcome to Misty Island. One Biff, one Bash, and there's always a crash.
That's right.
The logging locos biffed and bashed. They smashed and crashed. They giggled and jiggled as the logs leapt and flew. Then Hero whistled loudly.
Please, Thomas, I would like this to stop.
Thomas looked at his friend Hero. Hero wasn't happy. It was getting late. Thomas had promised to find the Fat Controller's hat, and he hadn't done that. The wind had taken the hat far away. "You've won, Mr. Wind," peeped Thomas. And he let out a tiny, sad whoosh of steam. Thomas chuffed sadly back towards Kelsthorpe Station. "I wonder if I will ever be a really useful engine again," he wheezed sadly. Then he saw it. The Fat Controller's hat was just in front of him, floating on the wind. "I was silly to think I was as fast as you, Mr. Wind," Thomas chuffed quietly. "Please, can you help me?" The wind heard Thomas. The Fat Controller's hat floated gently onto Thomas's funnel. Thomas couldn't believe his puff. He chuffed slowly and carefully towards Kelsthorpe Station.